And it's something, we tend to go through a process where, you look at the charts of friends, lovers, whatever, and then you sort of put it away. And then you deal with people on an ongoing basis, and a month later, there's a problem that arises. Go back and look at that chart. Go back and look at those charts that are around you. Go back with this sensitivity to profile. Go back with this sensitivity to resonance and harmony. Go back and look at your compromises with them and begin to see how well you're doing in your process. What I talked about during the sex course, the beauty of the petty tyrant. Compromise is a great thing to have to deal with in life. It's not something to be avoided. I do truly enjoy what compromise brings out, both in me and in others. We learn a lot that way. It's not about her saying, I no longer will have anything to do with your friends. If you're not going to be in that relationship, to be in that relationship, you have to deal with his friends. It's not about that. It's about understanding that it has its place and it's not your purpose. So do what's correct for you, but also recognize you've got to maintain your own purpose. You're going to have your own relationships. Then you're really going to be able to help that couple that's sitting there. You see, there's so many things we can tell people. It's like a human design reading. So many things you can tell somebody in a human design reading. I'm only interested in telling them their type. I'm only interested in telling them their profile. I'm not really interested in telling them anything else. I want them to grasp the essence at the simplest level. And when you're doing partnership, it's the same thing. When partners sit down with me, the first thing that I do is that I review each of their charts. And I review it very, very, very briefly at the surface. I talk about each as a type, and I talk about their authority. I talk about the emotions that are involved. If they're very individual, I talk about melancholy. But I do a very superficial thing about reminding them about who they are separately. And then I can bring them together. But when I bring them together, I don't go through all of that. I'm looking for the pinpoints. I'm looking for the electromagnetic that really works. I'm looking for the compromise that's really a bad one. In other words, I'm looking for those components that are really going to stand out in the relationship, because that's why they're there. They're not there to explore the subtleties of their relationship. They really aren't. That might come after years of working in their relationship. What they want to be dealt with are those things that are part of the everyday problems that they encounter in their relationship. By being able to see where that is, by being able to go to those places, you give them what they want and you give them what they need. And you don't have to overload them with all of the various things that you can talk about. As a good, solid worker of partnership, when you look at that